So the economy looks a little scary right now. So you might be wondering, is this the right time to buy a business? With all the uncertainty, can money be made? Can you find businesses that are 500,000 or more cash flow? And I'm here to tell you that yes, this is the best time to buy a business. And I'm going to tell you why in today's video. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business broker and commercial lender, helping you buy and scale a profitable business. If you are a small business owner looking to increase your wealth, or a W-2 employee sick and tired of the rat race wanting to get out, and the way to do that is by buying a profitable business, you are in the right place. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell, and you'll be notified every Thursday when new content comes out. So let's look at some of the headlines. U.S. tariffs just hit at 145% on Chinese goods and different double-digit increases across multiple countries. This is an influx right now as of May 2025, May 1st. The S&P 500 fell over 10% in 2 days in the last couple of weeks. Inflation expectations jumped to 3.6 according to the New York Fed. And small businesses relying on imports are feeling the squeeze, particularly if you have cost of goods sold and the businesses that you're looking at. The fear is real. And you know, there's a lot of fear mongering out there. And you know that the news media would love nothing more. What catches eyeballs is if it bleeds, it leads. So I think a lot of people react, and the market really reacts to emotion, not facts. And I'm here to tell you about the facts. But the truth is that a lot of buyers are still sitting on the sidelines frozen. That's happening. Now, the stats don't change. You still actually have the same 10%, maybe a little higher, of educated buyers that are actually grabbing the businesses. Because you know what happened? When everybody is leaving the building because, quote unquote, the building is on fire, those educated, savvy business buyers are going in and grabbing those businesses. This chaos is creating unprecedented opportunities. Now, we adapt and overcome. There have been changes in the SBA and the latest SOP with rules as far as equity injections and standbys and how to put a deal together. Is that stopping buyers from buying businesses? Not at all. Inside of our Business Acquisition Mastery Group, which is our highest end mastermind, we're closing deals every month. We just closed a massive deal. And we're closing another one, and then we have a bunch of them in different stages. If you know where to look, this chaos is going to create buying opportunities. And here's the first thing that you have to remember. Now, most buyers will stop at the first sign of trouble. Now, if you have a really good looking business, a business that has solid cash flow per the tax returns with excellent seller discretionary earnings, those businesses will say all day long, 7 days a week, regardless of the economy, because what you're buying is cash flow. What you're buying is an ecosystem that has been tried and true for decades. Now, some of the businesses that are my members of our group are buying have been around for 20, 30 years. Don't you think that they've actually weathered a few storms and decades? The 2007, 2008, the 2012, COVID in 2020 and 21. Listen, a good business will be recession-proof, will be pandemic-proof, will be AI-proof. Now, we have to factor that in. And so here's what I've learned from Robert Kiyosaki and the book that changed my life 30 years ago, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and says rich people increase their wealth faster during times of chaos and uncertainty, while poor people actually become poorer. Now, most people talk about, well, you got lucky, they bought this business, or you're looking at businesses. And the reality is, luck is where opportunity meets preparation. This is a quote from Sip, one of the members of our group. So I'm giving you credit, Sip. Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. So the key is, what is the key? The key is not buying any business, but buying the right business. And one of the things that I love inside of our group is we get together 30 or 40 people at a time, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, people that are the insiders, and we dissect, we analyze, we look at industries, we look at deals, 3 to 5 deals a week, and we talk about the nuances, and we take a turn to do a 360-degree view. Everybody in the room has a chance to opine and give their opinion and give suggestions and give their buy signals on businesses, because we are well informed. education, and knowledge is power. The elementals, the foundations, the bones of a business remain the same. Really, it doesn't really matter what's happening with the SBA and the interest rates going up or going down. At some point, prime was 2.5 in 2020. Now it's 7.5. It was 8.5 a year ago. It doesn't really matter because we don't buy subject to the rate. What we buy is based on debt service coverage ratio. That is the formula. If the debt service coverage ratio across multiple years is 1.5 to 1 on an industry you've been trying to get into for decades or for years, what wouldn't it make sense? But the fear of this, the fear of that, it stops many people. And we actually had a great discussion in group just this week, talking about people having some fears about what's going on, the tariffs, when is it going to stop? The reality is buyers are buying businesses. I have a deal in the market right now with an offer from a very savvy buyer who sees through all of that and adapts and overcomes and comes up with a strategy to deal with the tariffs, because whatever goes up must come down. Whatever comes down must go up. Everything will change. Nothing is ever permanent. And in business, you have to adapt. That's the key. So the businesses that we're looking at, the longer the business has been around, the more likelihood that it will continue on. A body that is set in motion tends to stay in motion. And that's what we're looking for, businesses that are 5 years and older. Now, why buying the right business still makes sense? Cash flow over market volatility. When you buy the right kind of business, you're not buying stock. Think about this. Are you stuck? Don't know what to do when it comes to buying a business? Have you done deal analysis? It hasn't worked out. Have you reached out to brokers? They're not getting back to you. You don't have success in reaching out to off-market sellers. You don't know what a debt service coverage ratio is. Have a hard time talking to banks. Don't know what banks to go to. How do you get an SBA 7A loan? What is a personal financial statement, et cetera, et cetera. We're here to help you. Connect with us. We'll be happy to give you a complimentary free access to a bunch of tools that you think you're going to need. In order to do so, just drop me a comment below or go ahead and follow the prompts. Send me an email as well. We'd love to connect with you, right? If you give $10,000 to Apple and you buy Apple stock, Amazon stock, blue chip, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and you're buying their NVIDIA and all those, the minute that you buy the stock, yeah, you have ownership, but guess what? You have zero control and what the company does with your money. You just got to be at the whim of the CEOs making the right decisions. And some of them make great decisions, some don't. But you have no control. There is no better investment opportunity than investing in yourself, in the assets or the stock of a business that you will control. That is the key. 90+% of all the millionaires come from owning businesses, not stock. Not that saying that owning stock is a bad idea, but you have no control over it. So what you're buying is the steady, predictable cash flow. Cash is king. Cash flow will always prevail. And we have multiple ways in the tools and the Deal Analyzer 3.0 and other tools that we have when we acid test that cash flow under multiple stress scenarios. We look at what it does to the net operating income, what happens when we do the add backs, what happens with the cash flow, what happens if there's seller carry, what happens if we add a stress to the market. We manipulate the rate and see what it does to our cash flow. Cash flow over debt service is debt service coverage ratio. That's the thing that we look, that's number one. If the business happened to survive our most strenuous testing of the cash flow over the debt service, then we look for other things. We look for recurring revenue. We were looking at a deal this week in which it has 50% recurring revenue. Recurring revenue plus predictable cash flow is king. Now, they would trade for a little higher multiples, not your standard 3x cash flow, as a lot of people say. And by the way, that's a myth. If you think you can just buy a business on 3x cash flow, it doesn't always work that way, because there are some industries that are going to trade higher than that, but you have to be able to see that, right? Also, recurring revenue, sticky customers, mission critical products or service. I love mission critical anything. If it is mandated by the government, the counties, if it is a necessary thing you have to do, or else, that's the kind of businesses I like to be in. For those who've been watching me for some time, I love accounting. Can you do away with not dealing with the IRS ever again? No. So I'm there to help our customers deal with and grow their businesses and pay a fair share of income tax, a fair share, not more, not less. If the economy gets worse, these businesses still will print cash. Every business that I ever sold still doing well, because I really don't like to sell businesses unless they have a proven business track record. Now, here's another thing you have to understand. Now, fear mongering works both ways. It affects the buyers, but it also affects the sellers. Sellers may be want to be up to give you a discount if they think, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of this industry because the other shoe is gonna fall, the hammer is gonna drop. In uncertain times and markets, many owners, especially boomers, finally decide it's time to sell. Now, everything would have been fine, but you know what? I'm sick and tired of dealing with AI or more compliance or more government regulation or more tariffs. I'm done. I'm out. And they're going to be more likely to say, wouldn't that create an opportunity for you? They're tired of fighting the headwinds, right? That's where you come in. They want out now, not 5 years from now. Think about the opportunity. The cost opportunity of you waiting 5 years to buy a business now is accelerated by the very thing that you fear the most, which is uncertainty. This means for you as a buyer, better pricing, higher seller financing, and creative deal structures. You would not have that during boom times. So remember, there is good and bad with everything. Don't overreact. Look at the numbers, look at the facts, put your feelings aside. And that's something that we help inside of our group. If you show up with clarity in mind on what makes a business resilient, you can lock in the best deals of this decade. For instance, one of our students locked out a deal with 70% seller finances because the owner simply did not want to ride the wave for the next 2 years. Now, number three, and thing that for you to look at, and one of the reasons why it's still the best time to buy a business today in 2025 is SBA loans are still going out the door. SBA loans are still flowing. In fact, I just got a report from Biz by Sell and from the SBA that he had a record quarter. Q1 2025 was a record quarter. A lot of deals got funded. So how do you explain that? With all the uncertainty going on, a lot of more businesses were sold, exchanged hands in this quarter than the last 2 quarters of last year. So you should be paying attention to that. SBA rates are variables. They're gonna go up and down. They also have some fixed rates, but the more stringent, the lower the cost, the higher the bar. SBA, check this out, approved over $30 billion worth of loans in 2025 with an approval rate of 59%. What does that tell you? But here's the catch. Banks are being pickier. So they want, and remember, the bank is not your enemy. The bank is your friend. And what I teach our students inside of the 20 plus lenders, all nationwide, all SBA preferred lenders that we have inside of our group, is that the bank is on your side. Now, another set of eyes, another set of due diligence. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that you get your feelings aside, but that you got professionals looking at this deal to make sure it makes sense, because you're the one who's going to be living with it, right? So what they're looking for is still the strong, steady cash flow, the essential industries, the reasonable add backs and adjustments. I love basically picking apart add backs when they come from other brokers. They're just fun. I look at the SIMs, the 20, 30 page SIMs, and I see all these crazy add backs that create overinflated prices, which we're able to defend. And average, we actually offer $200,000 to $300,000 less. And in most cases, we just got a deal under contract today with $400,000 of, asking price versus our accepted LOI price. We teach you how to package those deals and come up with the most optimal offer. Control. Number 4, control is the ultimate advantage. When you buy a business, you're not riding Wall Street's emotional roller coaster. God forbid, I don't. You have real control over your income. You can trim costs. Remember, you own the stock and you control how the business operates. You can trim costs without sacrificing value. You can raise prices with confidence, add new revenue streams, diversify, right? Multiple streams of income inside that business you just bought. Restructure vendor agreements to boost margins. The right businesses with good bones give you leverage in any economy, and they have done so for me for 20 plus years. Speculators ride the waves. Operators build ships that survive the storm. So, to wrap up, here's what I want you to remember. The headlines are loud, And if it bleeds, it leads. That's what you watch when you watch Fox News, CNN, and such. Fear is real. It's a real emotion. But the opportunity, it's even bigger if you focus on the right fundamentals. What makes a business great today will make a business great 20 years from now. Cash flow is cash flow, and you're never going to change. You're not buying hype. You're not buying volatility. You're buying proven cash flow, strong customer base, and recession-resilient operations. What is better than that? If you want to get serious about buying a business, the right kind of business in 2025, subscribe to our channel, join our free Acquisition Launchpad Skool Community, and here's the link. There'll be a link to the description, and we'll show you how to source great businesses, how to analyze deals for resilience, and negotiate the terms that protect you. Let's do this. Thank you so much for watching. For a limited time, we're giving away our deal calculator or cash flow calculator 2.0 and our buyer's checklist. These great tools have helped thousands of folks just like you looking to buy a business and give you added tools to help you in the quest of buying a business. And all you have to do is follow the links, the prompts below to download your copy so you can have them.